Mr. Chairman, members of the board, there now exists, with the retirement of Ms. Martin, there now exists in the office of the probation department, the chief probation officer, a vacancy. We have had discussions, I think, here at this board before about, I think I set out in my memo some of the anomalies that have existed related to how the chief probation officer position exists currently in Lassen County, and that is that position is essentially appointed or removed by the juvenile judge of the Superior Court, according to Welfare and Institutions Code Section 270. The reason that exists is because we have chosen to not, as of yet, have within our merit system of employment at the county level the position of chief probation officer. And that may have been fine in the years when the courts were part of the county structure, but that is no longer the case. It's kind of a hybrid employment scenario where you've got an individual working in the county ranks that supervises county employees paid for by the county, for which the county can have some liability, that is essentially appointed and or prospectively removed by the judge of the juvenile court. And so I think that one of the top 5 things I was tasked with when I began was this issue and dealing with it. This isn't something that's unique to Lassen County. This is an issue that has been going on statewide for some time. Many of the counties, say many, but a handful of counties have sought to resolve this by utilizing the authority granted to them under Welfare and Institutions Code Section 271. And that is essentially if we create within our merit system of employment the position of chief probation officer, we therefore then have the authority to appoint that person and, if necessary, remove discipline along the way or create the conditions of their employment and tenure. And we become the master of our domain, if you will. And that is what the ordinance proposes to do. This is the first step in a 2-step process. The ordinance, the introduction, if you will, reading and public comment upon being the first of a 2-step process. If you adopt the ordinance at the August 12 meeting, which is when I would propose it be rescheduled for, we would also need to deal with some other issues associated with job description, associated with policies and procedures of the county personnel rules, changing some of those to reflect the essentially work at the will of the Board of Supervisors, and that it's the board that appoints and or removes and or disciplines. But those would come later. Those would come in August. The first step, of course, and as I mentioned in my memo, as for now, I would invite you to consider a motion to introduce the ordinance as crafted and to read the ordinance or waive reading and to take public comment upon it. And I'm available for any questions.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, this has been an action that the county has sought since the late 1990s when we had the situation where the judge had removed the chief probation officer that led to a very expensive litigation and ultimately cost the county for the action taken outside. And that was prior to even the separation of the courts from county structure. And subsequent to that event, there had been at least 2 attempts at the legislative level to get a bill that would either move the probation office 100% under the control and responsibility and funding of the courts, or to move it 100% under the control or functioning of the county. But this hybrid thing that has evolved was not one that was tolerable to either perspective for that matter. And fortunately, Nevada County worked out an arrangement, a pathway through the thicket of the codes and so forth a few years ago now, which has become the template, I think, that has led to, like you said, the 20-some counties that have been making this conversion. And so we ultimately, if we could not get a clear-cut legislative action, to give us relief, at least we created a way. And I think this here fulfills something that the board set out to do, I would say 15 years ago now, because of the situation that happened back in the
Sorry it's taken me so long, I've only been here for 2 months now, so.
Well, we had to deal with, the situation with the last, incoming in the office and that arrangement where you had the judge wanted this and,
I want to stop you there.
yeah, we should stop there. But anyway, it's, that's all passed now. Now we're starting fresh and maybe this is the way to do it.
I believe
Thanks,
so.
Joe. Are there any other comments?
Move, I support it.
I want to, I'm sorry, Mr. CEO, I'd like to make note of the proposition that, as I referenced in, I don't know if I put that in the memo or not, but Mr. CAO and I and previous county council met with Judge Bergerosa, and we had a very good, productive conversation about this very issue. That was the whole reason